What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark, back at MovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and I'm polishing off some last consideration titles here. This was not submitted for my consideration. Oscilloscope, I don't know. Maybe they just don't care about awards. But they did send me like one screener, like right at the tail end for Gallica consideration, and I remembered Oscilloscope existed. But I went ahead and watched Wildcat, and I actually bought Wildcat in the Apple Store because it was the same price. So it's kind of stupid just to rent a movie for the same price that you could buy it. I mean, like, it doesn't have audio description, so it's just like one thing in my library that I'm like, well, fuck. But it's directed by Ethan Hawke. It stars his daughter Maya, as well as Laura Linney and himself. He's also in this. So this is a Flannery O'Connor movie. This is Ethan Hawke taking a look at the life of Flannery O'Connor, and I thought it was interesting. I thought he had sort of a nice little look. It was sort of a little offbeat. It's not a typical biopic. It reminded me of Dickinson in some ways, the TV series with Haley Steinfeld playing Emily Dickinson, just because of the juxtaposition of them both being writers. You find Flannery is, she's got this diagnosis and she's headed home to spend more time with her mom, who clearly just does not like anything about what Flannery is as a person, and has a completely different set of values that her daughter sort of dissects lovely. Laura Linney plays a great racist in this. Just, just, you'll love to hate her. just, anyway, and it's just sort of interesting to see this little pocket of life. I don't think we've had really a great Flannery O'Connor biopic. I don't know that this really satisfies as a biopic necessarily, much like Dickinson wouldn't. You know, it sort of ruminates a little bit on what they know of Flannery, and then adds in some interesting elements. Like, there are things that break break the mold, so to speak, in terms of how about like things you would or would not include in a biopic, and things that also like follow another character, like thoughts that she has about her mom, for example. There's a scene where she explains how like the hierarchy that her mom has for humans, with most black people being at the bottom, and then poor white trash, and then like like homeowners, and then like major landowners or something like that, and then like big business, like the wealthy people, right? So like 5 steps, and I guess she sees herself like at the 4th step because she's like a homeowner with land, and she says stuff about how it's confusing because sometimes you have somebody who's black and a landowner, or black and successful, so it gets, I guess her mom's brain hurts. But she's all about this like hierarchy of society, and her place in it. So as an example, there's a scene where she imagines that her mother is given the chance to reincarnate, but God tells her that she only has 2 spots. She has to choose whether or not to be poor white trash or be black. Not the word used, but I'm not using that word. And she thinks really hard about it and has this like conversation with God. So like, those are the kind of things you don't normally find in a straight up biopic, but it's a really interesting look at Southern racism. That old school, really sort of built in. There's a lot of Dixie songs in here. Like, he uses a lot of those old Look away, Dixieland, Dixieland. Like you can hear a lot of that. Like a lot of that is supplemented for score in this. There's another one too that it's like that too. It feels like um the whole thing could have been written by Stephen Foster. Anyway, yeah, it's an interesting. I'm glad I saw it. It sucks that it doesn't have audio description, but just to sort of understand Ethan Hawke's style. I also think it's interesting that he's directing his daughter. Like to me, that's just inherently interesting. And I thought Maya did a really nice job here. It's not the hardest movie. Like I wasn't just totally left out, but there are plenty of times where I was like, well, I need audio. I don't know what's happening. What is this? What are we doing here? You know, those scenes where there's like no dialogue and we're just like sitting and looking and you just kind of wonder, what is this? What is life? That happens to me a lot with movies. It's like I'm waiting for the movie to come back. It's like, where did the movie go? Are we coming? Are you coming back? That happens. So, but it's the second performance from Laura Linney this year where she played somebody I didn't like, but she did a really good job of doing it. Very underrated work. She was also in Suncoast, and I didn't like her in Suncoast, and I didn't like the movie, but I thought she did a good job acting the character in Suncoast. And here, I think she's doing a really good acting job in this as well. These are sort of like the forgotten performances of 2024 are like, it's like the work that Laura Linney is doing because it's definitely really strong work for her. But at the same time, these aren't characters that you're going to rush out and be like, oh my God, I really connected with. You're going to be like, if anything, you're going to connect with Maya Hawke and her having to deal with somebody like that. So, yeah, and Maya does a nice job here too. And of course, Maya had a great year. She got a lot of critical praise for being the new central add-on to Inside Out 2. So she was in Maestro last year. Her career is going to continue. It's funny watching. I know they call them nepo babies, but it's funny watching them sort of like rise up. You know, rise up. And Maya's doing that. She's doing that all on her own. You could say that she wouldn't be afforded the opportunity if she wasn't Maya Hawke. I would say maybe she would. Some of them are actually good at what they do. Some of them are actually talented. And we've had nepo babies of a generation above. It's just people didn't use that term. You know, when Michael Douglas started acting, nobody was like, nepo baby. But yet nobody, nowadays, nobody looks at him and goes, oh, well, that dude, he was lucky his dad was Kirk. He's a terrible actor. It's like, have you seen Wall Street? Have you seen, I don't know, like any of his movies? So, maybe for some of the people, every once in a while you see somebody who, oh yeah, you definitely got in there on a favor. But I think for people, I see Maya Hawke and we see Lily Rose Depp is getting a ton of praise for Nosferatu. I don't think that Nippo baby thing is like a real thing anymore. It's not a thing. But I enjoyed Wildcat. It just needs audio description. So this has a rotten score too. I would love to have gotten the full picture of it so that I could because I probably would lean positive. I'd probably go fresh on this. I thought it was interesting. It definitely felt like it was my vibe. But yeah, I don't have audio description. So I'm gonna give it a floating grade of a B. Because I could go to a B plus, B minus, somewhere around in there, because there's no accessibility here. And my official grade though is unwatchable due to lack of audio description. Look at that. And thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.